Hello and welcome to Gnomeregan, perhaps the least favourite dungeon of everyone who plays WoW, really. I'll just introduce myself. Hello all. Huh, you beat me to it. So yes, Gnomeregan, the lore behind this place is that it is the former home city of the gnomes until Mechanier Thermopod betrayed Gelbin Mechatork, and as a result of his betrayal... Gosh, this is loud, I'm just going to turn it down for a second, there we go. As a result of his betrayal, a lot of gnomes were killed and turned into radioactive lepers, and the gnomes had to run away and live in Ironforge instead. So what we as the Horde are doing in here is... dunno, we have no quests for this place, we're just here because we can be. The reason it's everyone's least favourite dungeon, or it used to be, is that pre-Cataclysm there was no map for one thing. There were tons of dead ends, just filled to the brim with trash. You could easily get lost in there for hours without encountering a single boss or anything particularly interesting. It just took forever. And there were even these little robots that said, "Intruder alert! Intruder alert!" when they saw you, and summoned an entire room worth of mobs to you. They've been nerfed now. If you don't kill them after a couple of seconds, they will only summon 2 mobs rather than aggro every mob in the world. Yep, I knew I'd be told to jump. Sure thing. There are many corridors of trash, but the first boss is down here, and that's where the winding corridors take us. So people prefer to just jump down and skip as much trash as they can. And as much as I'd kind of like to show you everything that everything has to offer, I just won't get away with it in this particular series. I will not get away with it at all. So, jumping down to the first boss, who, he doesn't even have a boss-like name, so he can be easily missed. I think he's called Viscous Fallout, or something like that. Anyone has mana? No, you. Oh, he means a drink. There it is, Viscous Fallout. He's the boss. He's quite hard to miss, except, well, hard to spot even, other than his big size. Can I pull him? Actually, the healer is worrying, so I'll ready check. Yeah, you can't trade cross-server. Okay, he's ready. Can't trade cross-server. Except for conjured items. So, tactics of Viscous Fallout, I don't believe he has any. He's one of those bosses. He hits you, he has health, and yeah. Gotta make sure that you keep the patrolling ads in this room under tabs. I'll use my new move Shield Block. There's no real call to, but I'm not sure when I should be using it as a tank, so I'll just use it whenever. It increases my chance to block by 25% for 10 seconds, so I guess it's for high damage phases. But then it does sound like it's left to chance, although by the sounds of the secondary description of it, I can at some point get it so that I have a 100% chance to block, which will be lovely. So that's the end of Viscous Fallout. Not much of a boss, but he does have nice loot. So, apparently we're going here now. Thankfully, post-Cataclysm, this place has a map. I cannot even begin to describe to you how horrible this all was before this dungeon had a map. Gosh. Everyone else seems to be going around the room, so I will do so too. Got a tank and all of that. Now, it's quite surprising just how similar Gnomeregan is now to how it used to. I think a lot of the extraneous corridors have been cut out, but it hasn't changed much. And we all expected it to change quite a bit come Cataclysm, or at least to go away entirely, though changing would have been nice, obviously, because of the whole Reclamation of Gnomeregan questline that came in patch 3.3. As you know, both the trolls and the gnomes have pre-Cataclysm, they all were not in their own hometowns. Gnomes started with dwarfs, and trolls started with the orcs. This is because the troll home of Echo Isle was taken over by Zalazine, the voodoo master, and the Gnomeregan place, as we know, was taken by Thermoplug. So they each got cool little quests you could follow, where we took those islands back, and it was brilliant. But not for the gnomes, bless them. They, unlike the trolls, actually failed to take back Gnomeregan. I did both versions because I had a high-level Alliance character just lying around, not up so much. And let me paint a picture for you. The Reclamation of the Echo Isles Troll Quest Zone. You, a load of elite troll warriors, and Vol'jin himself all rush to the Echo Isles. On the first little island, you fight... I think his name was Mumbwambi or something. He was like this god creature. He was like the lower. He was a lower. He had something to do with... He looked after the spirits of dead Darkspear, and he was angered because of all the voodoo going on the island, and he assumed you were a part of it. So you start off the quest by beating a god into submission, who then joins your cause. You then go over to the second island, which has been taken over by one of Zalazane's minions, this Master Poacher. You rally all of the creatures of the island, i.e. tigers and cool things like that, to basically rip this poacher to shreds. Then you make it to the main island, where Zalazane himself is. You go into a huge battle. It's you, all of the animals, all of the spirits and tiki gods that Mumbwambu, or whatever his name was, is summoning. Then Zalazane runs away to another island and shields himself. He shields himself inside this force field that no living thing can pass through. So Mumbwambi raises all of the dead Darkspear from the dead, and those undead trolls just walk right through the shield and rip him to bits. That quest there we're not going to do. There's no way we'll ever convince a group to do that because it's so far out of the way. But basically, if you find grimy rings from mobs, take them to the Sprinkle-matic Cleano-majigger, and you have a chance at nice loot. So anyway, what's I saying? So yeah, that's how cool the trolls were. They got a god on their side, they got all of the animals on their side, and then they had their own dead soldiers that Zalazane had just killed in the battle finish him off in a gruesome way, which is so troll. The gnomes, on the other hand... nope. Not apart from that Cleanomatic thingy, which is not worth it at all. This is a mostly Alliance place. They get all the quests here. Anyway, so yeah, the gnomes, by comparison, you meet your leader, Gelbin Mechatork, on the outskirts of Gnomeregan in the snowy fields above. He's armed in a huge spider tank, and he has elite gnomes in a spider tank. It's all very cool, so you start battling Thermoplug's forces, who are also in spider tanks. There's a fairly convincing sort of war going on, which you cut your way through. It's all very good. Then you beat up some boss spider tank. Then you make it into Gnomeregan itself, and I shit you not, you're in it for less than a minute before Thermoplug arms a nuclear device, and you all run away back to Ironforge, and that's it. So, trolls made of awesome, gnomes made of fail. And that's not a horde bias, the facts are just there. The gnomes did so badly in the retaking of their thing. I think we go this way. Yes. Ah! Sorry, I received a text. I'll answer that in a bit. So yeah, that's the end of that particular long train of thought regarding the awesomeness of trolls. I've recently moved cleave on my action bar to put hamstring there instead, and it is most confusing. There we go. Now the next boss we're coming up to, again I believe has no actual tactics besides I think he does a lightning bolt or a chain lightning or something like that. What the next boss is notable for, however, is the single best war cry in the entirety of the WoW universe, the Warcraft universe I should say. There is no greater war cry from anyone or anything in any period of history. He just tops it. So let's go meet him now. Oh, we've still got a few trashy bits to go. Pardon me. Leprous assistant. Noth ruftis arisis un vandar nadad mod q noth birthor orlinorgan burfrum vrugaz. There's one of the intruder alert things. Very easy to kill, they have like a few health. But yes, back in the olden days, they would literally, any mob still in the room, they would pull. These days, they just summon 2 mechanical chickens to have a go at you. It looks like my beloved is logging onto WoW, which is always a brilliant occasion. Literally, that's probably sounded quite sarcastic, but that's just my tone of voice. It fills me with joy whenever I see her name. So, the Electrocutioner 6000, just listen to this.
Electric justice.
Oh, fucking yes. Can you get a better war cry than that? Spoiler alert, you can't. That is the best war cry. That is just the pinnacle of war cries. Electric justice. So, yeah. By the looks of it, he's not doing anything at all. Really? He's doing a decent amount of damage to me, though, I'll give him that. Ah, so we've got Megavolt, which is indeed a chain lightning, or if not a chain lightning, then just a lightning that hits everyone. Now, these punch cards here, I don't know if they are still relevant. I think they're useful for an alliance quest still, nothing to do with us. However, from the very early mobs, and this quest, another one, even if I was alliance, I'd say probably isn't worth it, because it involves going all over the damn place, out of your way, everywhere. Or maybe it's changed since Cataclysm, but it involves going all over the place, and essentially... Are we jumping? I hope not. We shouldn't be. If someone tells me to jump, I'll jump. But yes, there's punch cards from... Oh, okay, we are jumping. From the very... Oh, extra parachutes. Oh, awesome. I didn't even know about this, so I guess Blizzard does intend for you to jump down now. They've got all these corridors of trash, but they know we want to skip them. Whee! You say jump here, I just fucking went for it. But what was I saying? Yes, the punch cards from the very early trash mobs in the game. You can get something like a grey punch card, and there we go. You get a grey punch card, and if you hand that into a machine, you get a slightly upgraded punch card back. Then you get like gold punch cards, platinum punch cards, ruby punch cards, and they just get better and better, and eventually, if you're an alliance, you'll complete some sort of quest to get the uber punch card. But the interesting thing about these punch cards is there is an in-joke, or a mythology gag, better to say, which is you get a binary code, ones and zeros. Well, it's either binary or the language that the blind people speak. The bumps, the dots one. For some reason, I can't remember what it's called right now. I'll scream it out at random as soon as I remember it. Braille! So, it's either binary or Braille, but it's a message that spells out Thrall and Jaina sitting in a tree, K-I-S-S-I-N-G. Thrall obviously referring to the War Chief, the former War Chief Thrall, and Jaina referring to Jaina Proudmoore, the mage. The reason that's an in-joke, or a gag of sorts, is that many people suspected that Thrall and Jaina were in love due to how well they got on in Warcraft 3 and Frozen Throne, and just how all the background lore is showing them as being like the only two people interested in peace between Horde and Alliance. So yeah, there was a rumour they were in love, and Chris Metzen, or whoever wrote that, I just assume that Chris Metzen writes everything, whoever wrote that was poking fun at that little rumour. Of course, these days, Thrall has Agra, with whom he is having little babbies, little orklings, and Jaina has nobody. And I think in the coming up expansion, the Panda expansion, Garrosh Hellscream and his forces are going to completely raze her city of Theramore to the ground. So she's either going to die, which I kind of doubt, or she's going to really think twice about her fondness for the Horde, which is more likely since Blizzard really wants to push this Alliance and Horde hate each other no matter what thing. And they got stuck into it in Wrath of the Lich King, and they've been taking it to further extremes ever since. And as far as I know, the Mists of Pandaria expansion is going to be a completely PvP orientated thing. I don't mean by which it will only have PvP and nothing else, but I mean the raids are going to be like, if you're Horde, all of the bosses will be Alliance-y. If you're Alliance, all of the bosses will be Horde-y. Of course, Panda still has ages to come out, and we don't know that much about it. That's just how I believe it's going so far from all that we've seen. I mean, Wrath of the Lich King, we immediately knew that we'd have the Lich King as the baddie. Cataclysm, we immediately knew that Deathwing would be the baddie. We've heard nothing about a big major baddie from this expansion. And Chris Metzen announced this expansion at BlizzCon with, "We're going to put the war back in Warcraft." So it's likely that it's going to be focused on the Alliance and Horde conflict, which, as with every single piece of World of Warcraft news that's ever announced ever, the fandom has mixed opinions on. And when I say mixed, I mean fucking polarizing. Some absolutely love it, some hate it, and believe it's the absolute death of WoW, as they have believed every single change has been the absolute death of WoW. I myself, I think it's going to be good. Then again, I don't know. I'm just determined to be optimistic about this Panda expansion, because a lot of people have been saying bad things about it, just as a gut reaction to the word panda. But, you know, Wrath of the Lich King had walrus people. Pandas aren't that silly. But we'll all see, we'll all see. But in Blizzard, I have trust. In Blizzard, I trust. So we're getting over to the final chamber. So this has actually been a rather nice run. If you're watching this and you've not played Gnomeregan before, you're probably thinking, gosh, why does everyone hate this place? It seems really straightforward. Well, before the advent of the map and before they cut out loads of the unnecessary bits or the middlemen, I can assure you, seeing this, the final chamber, it took you like 2 hours to get here. And I think Blizzard knew it, which is why they have the final chamber written there as a beacon of hope for the dying, the starving, the thirsty players who have just fought their way through what once was a labyrinthian dungeon. But yeah, now we've gotten there quite quickly. Just recording Gnomeregan. So I will talk about the final boss. There he is, Mechgineer Thermoplug. He's a boss who used to have a strategy, but now no longer does. You see around these chambers, there are buttons you can press. And basically, he summons bombs that come from these chambers. There they are, the walking bombs. And you used to have to DPS those down, but now you can just sort of ignore them. I DPS that one down, but just to show it off. You used to be able to DPS it, and look, that one is charging with electricity. Someone, a DPS or something, had to run over and press the button to stop that charging, or it will hit us with deadly, deadly lightning. These days it hits us with lightning that nobody gives a shit about, and I don't think that's because the dungeon has been nerfed at all. I think it's just because the dungeon hasn't been changed since it came out, and our characters, through the new talents, just through the game evolving, have become stronger than they used to be. A level 28 warrior these days is miles stronger than a level 28 warrior was in Classic. So, there we go. He's dead, and Gnomeregan is done. Ooh, two-handed, not for me. Does it look like his left arm? Does it look like his left arm? No. That would be cool if you could go around wielding the arm of that robot. Thanks for the run, guys. But yes, as far as I know, there aren't quests here anymore, unless you're Alliance. And there used to be a chest back here where you could loot a key that allowed you to take a shortcut, well, allowed you to skip almost everything except this final corridor. And, you know, back in the day, that key was a luxury because there used to be so much more crap beforehand than there is now. So, I hope you enjoyed this run of Gnomeregan, and I will see you next time for, I believe, the Scarlet Monastery Graveyard, which is going to be a short one, but look forward to it anyway. Goodbye and good luck. I love you.